Hi, I'm Sarah, and I'm a liberal.
And I'm Vince, and I'm conservative. And today, we're going to be talking about white privilege.
Yay!
Define white privilege.
White privilege is something that people who are white, like us. Experience because they are privileged and given an advantage because of their race. I just kind of came up with that.
Okay, we'll go with that. Advantage because of your race. What's the first question, Anjali?
Yeah.
Do you believe it's real?
Yes.
No. Well, it's complicated.
I think it's very real. I don't always see it because I'm not trained to see it.
Right.
But I think that people are telling me it's true, and I say things similar to that about women being discriminated against, and I think it is true because, I don't think there's any reason to lie.
I think that the definition of privilege, having an advantage, having something that you don't deserve. Because if you do deserve it, then that's just something that you have. Like, rich people have money because they earned it, you know? Like, they're not
Sometimes.
And so I think that white privilege doesn't exist because the advantages that we're given because we're white are deserved. Because a lot of America and Europe, white people, this came up with a lot of the ideas, actually all the ideas that America was founded on, basically built our nation. The advantage that they have is deserved.
None of us that are living in America or even Europe were the ones that founded our country.
I mean, you're right. So something that I try to avoid a lot is identity politics. I don't like someone says you should think this because you're this. Black person should be a liberal because they're black. Like, in the same way, I don't think that because I'm white, I deserve anything more than a black person. Everyone in our country has an equal opportunity to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and build a life for themselves.
You said everyone has an equal opportunity, that's what you think.
Right.
Then why do so many people, of color just generally say that there's white privilege?
A lot of things that they'll cite is in media. They're underrepresented in media, and because there's so many white people, the white people are privileged. I'm not saying that that's the only reason that white privilege exists, but I'm just countering that one aspect of it. Do take up more than half of our nation. Black people, 13%, Asian people, 6%. I think that the representation in media is proportionate, and I think that over 13% of actors are black. And also, I think that if there are percent of all great actors were white, then there should only be white people in the media. And if there were no good white actors, there should be only people of color.
People of color face greater hardships than people who are white.
Like what?
If you are African American, you're less likely to go to college. I think is one. And one reason for that is because we're enslaved.
Right.
Way long ago.
Way. Yeah.
Unity in itself still hasn't recovered from that. Like, they're still living in lesser areas on the whole. And I think that because of that, they have less opportunity. I think that they were stereotyping them in a different way, but I still think we're stereotyping that is another leading cause of white privilege. I'm white, and I think that my voice is not the one that needs to be heard, and I don't know that my opinion is going to reflect well with a lot of people who are of color.
Right.
I'm the one that's here, so...
Way back when, you're right, that black people, when they came out of slavery, they wanted to move north because their whole life they had heard that the north is where freedom was. So when they got out of slavery, the ones that didn't get into the tenant farming, I think,
yeah,
they headed into the city to try to look for jobs. Settle in these places called ethnic enclaves. All the white people are like, lol, bye, and they just blast it off. It's called white flight. Because of racism around that time, things called blacklining came about, and it basically made them into trash. Basically, the west side of Chicago, you'll find some not great areas. It's because of racism in the past. Now, I'm not denying that there was racism, and I'm not denying that there is racism today. And I think that the effects of that racism are still going down from generation to generation. But I don't think that there's systematic racism like there was before.
I think that there is less systematic racism, but I think there is still systematic.
Prove it.
I am 16. I am unable to prove it.
Find laws that make people less equal.
but I don't think the majority of people are being actively racist. The majority of people are doing it subconsciously, and I will even catch myself doing
Being racist.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's not something I'm doing on purpose. It's just I've grown up in a very white area. The second I catch myself doing it, I get angry and frustrated.
You're saying that sometimes you'll have to catch yourself, being unintentionally racist, and this is because of just your background. And do you think that other people who are racist because they just are can use what you just said as a justification for why they're racist?
No. Because I constantly challenge it. The second I catch myself doing that, I immediately try to fix that. It's not an excuse.
There will always be people that there will always be people that are racist again. But I don't think that implies that there's a systematic racism against any people in America. And I feel like every single person in America has an equal opportunity to pull themselves up. Sometimes their environments has an effect on this. Like Sarah said, and if you are born into one of these filthy ethnic enclaves in the city.
I didn't say that.
I said that. These people often will get stuck. That's terrible. If you take a black person and a white person and put them in the same situation, the white person and the black person have the same opportunities to flourish in our country.
I don't agree. That was the same thing I was saying earlier. I am not racist. However, I have prejudices. And that's where I think that white privilege comes in. Because there are these prejudices, and that's...
Well, I think that there will always be prejudices. I think that some are rightful. I don't think prejudice is inherently terrible. And I don't think that there's any systematic prejudices that make people less able to succeed. That's our opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright. Like, comment, subscribe.
I never want to say that because...
Yeah, I know.
disgusting.
I literally hate myself right now. But that's okay.
Me too. See you next time.